I vividly remember going to a talk in my university. The speaker was a world leader. I stepped in front of an auditorium of MBA students and asked him what he thought the future holds in store for Africa. He chuckled and said, "There's no innovation coming out of Africa. Africa is going to be left behind again."
Kenya, it's home. It's the country that's raised me, the country that's fed me. I've always known that no matter where life takes me, I will always return back. My biggest driver in life has always been to give back to my country.
I knew that I wanted to dedicate myself to ensuring culturally appropriate, healthy, and sustainable sources of food for everyone. Often, learning about global issues in school can be full of doom and gloom, but channeling my time and my passion into this venture has given me hope and excitement for what the future can hold.
It is proving to be the most phenomenal roller coaster, and man, it's teaching me so much. It's truly been a humbling experience. I've never been so excited for what's to come.
From Kenya and the USA, welcome Team Kulisha.
So how are we going to feed 9 billion people? Well, fish farming or aquaculture is the fastest growing form of food production in the world. It's growing at 10% a year. Now this is the same thing in my country, Kenya. You see, the government has decided to enact a plan to increase this industry 10 times in the next 10 years. The government sees this as being the best way to get protein to a rapidly growing population. It's a fantastic idea, but there's one key issue. What are we gonna feed all these fish? See, right now what we do is we trawl the oceans for these little fish called anchovies, which we can then grind up into a fish meal and then feed that to raise higher valued farmed fish. But there are many issues with this, especially if you're a small scale farmer in Kenya. One, it's extremely expensive, comprising of up to 80% of a typical farmer's cost. Then, it's really low quality, and a typical sack of fish meal can comprise of up to 30% gravel. These are real stories. We have personally interviewed and visited over 100 different farmers in Kenya from all parts of the country. They all said one thing: feed is the single biggest issue facing the industry. This is Mr. Machome Salim. He cannot commit full time to fish farming simply because it's too expensive and unreliable. Think of how many other farmers there are just like Mr. Machome. There are thousands of them in Kenya. It's crazy. Right now, fish farming, it has so much potential, but right now, under current conditions, it simply cannot be the answer to feeding 9 billion people. We aim to change that. We aim to make it that answer. And we're gonna do it through these guys. Black soldier fly. Our venture, Kulisha, will grow and process these larvae into a high quality, high protein, low cost alternative to fish meal. Now, granted, they may not be the best looking, but I will tell you, they are incredible. They're so high in protein that preliminary research shows that they increase farmers' yields by up to 34%. On top of that, these things, they naturally feed off organic waste. And so an evolutionary benefit of that is that they're not vectors of disease. On top of this all, it just makes obvious sense. The majority of farmed fish in Kenya is tilapia and trout, and these are species that naturally eat insect larvae, not trawled ocean anchovies. So how are we gonna do this? Well, it starts off with our core competency, which is insect production. We've developed a modular, off-grid, proprietary system which entails sourcing organic waste and using this to grow our black soldier fly larvae en masse. We then process these larvae into a high-quality feed, formulating it to meet each specific stage of a farm fish's life cycle. Marketing promises to be a key advantage for us. The government has embraced this idea, and we are going to be trialing our product at the largest fish farm in Kenya. It's a government farm, so what that means is the fisheries department, with access to over 10,000 registered farmers, will get our results through their monthly regional farmer workshops. In terms of distribution, we're in constant communication with one of the largest distributors in East Africa. They have access to over 13,000 retail stores throughout the region. So we truly have a global team, and they bring a whole range of diverse perspectives, and that honestly has been a huge asset to this. But on top of that, we're also guided by some of the world's leading experts in both insect production and sustainable aquaculture. We communicate with them on a weekly basis. And it's through the strength of this global network that we've been able to jump years in research and be able to develop our initial facility. In terms of progress, we've had some of our most recent major accolades, including winning the Michigan Business Challenge, one of the largest in the American Midwest. We're also currently participating in the Total Startup of the Year Challenge, one of the largest in Africa. At a more environmental level, I've recently been awarded the National Geographic Young Explorer Award of the Young Explorer Award as a result of this venture and its ability to reduce pressure of ocean ecosystems. Participating in all these competitions have streamlined us. We know where we want to take this venture and how we're going to do it. Phase 1, we set up our initial facility. We implement all of our research and we build our colony. Phase 2, we start trialing throughout the country, continually formulating our feeds, optimizing fish growth, and further testing the market. Phase 3, July 2017, we take this to scale. This journey has only really begun about 6 months ago, but I can tell you, it's been incredible. I have learned so much, from visiting parts of the country I never thought I'd ever see, to learning how to listen, and I mean truly listen, how to make yourself vulnerable. And I can tell you, I have never been so excited in my life. We can make transformative change for the thousands of fish farmers in Kenya. We can revolutionize this industry, and we're gonna do it, one black soldier fly at a time. The first of which, ladies and gentlemen, is actually right here in this very room, from our very own prototype facility at the Brown University greenhouse. Thank you very much. We're Kulisha.
Well, it's very clear. The second batch of teams is certainly meeting the bar of the first batch. Whitney, I'm going to start with you. What do you think?
No, very, very impressive. I have a question about how the fish actually taste, if they taste any different with your feed.
Yeah, so the preliminary research that we were talking about showed no change in the taste or quality of the fish. So they put these fish side by side with fish that were fed regular feed, and there was no change or quality.
Marquise, what's on your mind?
Besides money, what else do you think you need? I mean, what's missing in your model today?
Yeah, so we have really had a unique opportunity to propel this idea as students in a research-oriented business. And right now we haven't been facing any barriers. We've done an excellent job with financing. We've raised $43,000 and are hoping to raise about $62,000 to finance this pilot. And I think the biggest barrier is, since we have to return to school, what will we do then? Fortunately, we have one of our team members who couldn't make it today, Lunalo. He already graduated and is full-time in Kenya, and we are planning on him taking over the facility. So at that time, we'll have a better idea of exactly what the challenges will be.
These bugs look awesome.
Thank you.
You mentioned a proprietary system for insect production. Can you kind of walk us through that system a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let Viraj take that.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Well, it revolves around two big things. So the first is the harvesting mechanism, and the second is how to optimize the growing conditions. Now, I'm happy to talk about that further if you'd like. At another level, in terms of like barriers to market. So Kenya is a really interesting market in which well, we have strong relationships at almost every stage of the value chain, and these will be pretty difficult to replicate. But yeah, again, if you want me to talk further on our actual proprietary system, I'm more than happy to talk further. Okay, all right, cool. So in terms of like the harvesting system, so I think I mentioned earlier we're developing an off-grid system, so it revolves around solar. So we're using a combination of heat and light powered by that to trigger certain behavioral changes in the larvae, and that's basically the key to our harvesting technology. In terms of optimization of growing conditions, well, we're looking at humidity, pH, a variety of different parameters in how to larval density is a key thing. But yeah, through our contacts, we've been able to really plow through this research. Yeah.
Melissa?
So you've spoken a lot about the Kenyan market. What are the other markets that you guys are looking at?
Yeah, so I'll let Arjun talk about how we plan to grow and scale this.
So our expansion strategy is actually quite an interesting one. We'll focus on the three different the value additions that the insect can have during its life cycle. One of them is the fertilizer supplement that we showed you. The second is that we can extract oil and medicinal grade chitin. Additionally, our production facility is designed in such a manner that we incorporate materials that are readily available in the region, and the solar power allows us to expand geographically within the region. We're also looking into animal feed such as swine and poultry if necessary. It's routes of expansion.
Okay, Samiha, this will be the last question.
Yeah, what is the price point that you're targeting for this product, and how does it compare to existing products in the market?
Yeah, so right now there are three main competitors. So the first is the homemade feed that Viraj was talking about earlier. And their big issues with that is that it's low quality and inconsistent, and is actually price competitive with us. So you can see the range, it varies depending on what the quality is, but it's price competitive, and we're a far superior feed. The next is Kenyan-made feeds, and Kenyan-made feeds are actually made for poultry and swine. So they're not designed for fish, which means not only do they have suboptimal nutrient qualities, but in addition to that, they sink, which significantly dirties the water quality of the fish farmers, which is a huge problem that they're dealing with. The final option that they can relate to is this imported feed. So very few farmers are using this. It's unbelievably expensive and very inaccessible. So we're price competitive with the lowest option and actually outcompete the others in the other options.
Time. Thank you very much. A big round of applause, please.